Are we finally recording? We are on the air right now.
We are.
Welcome. Yeah, there we go. Welcome to the Dynasty Pulse on the Undroppables and Fantasy Sports Advice Network. We are here. We've got Schultzy, Chev, and Coach in the building. Biggs is somewhere in the back doing something or one or another. Who cares at this stage? We are ready to rock. And let's get the intro video going, Schultzy. It is week 4, and it is the weekend warm-up, and we are here. Boys, how are you doing? I'll start with you, Chev. What is going on this fine evening?
Greetings and salutations, Grindberg. We just got some things going on with the last night, Thursday, tomorrow, the American tackle football game that's occurring right now. JSN is no. That was Torrey Horton. Oh, that's incredible.
So close.
That would have been great.
It's incredible.
That was a ball.
Yeah. Hey, so I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, man. It's getting ready into the weekend. It's getting fall here up in Canada, so the snow is about to fall, and
things are starting snowing there.
No,
it's snowing. 2 days from now it'll snow.
Yeah, not quite yet, but it's getting close. Now, Jared, what's going on with you, man? How are you doing, bud?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be twins. I'd be triplets. So another day on this side of the dirt.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Above the. I don't know.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right, yeah. Schultzy, what's going on, man?
Hey, dude, I'm great. Honestly, I can't believe Brian Thomas Jr. dropped it. Oh my God, that was Marvin Harrison. he might stink.
Yeah, well,
he might stink.
It is an actual possibility here that we're looking at this Brian Thomas Jr. and Marvin Harrison Jr. being some flops in 2025, and there's some storylines here that we got to get into, guys. So let's start it off with storyline number 1. Daniel Jones from the Giants cast off to AFC South MVP contender. Can you believe the Colts named Daniel Jones their starting quarterback in 2025? Well, I did. I predicted it in camp, and I said it boldly, and now I'm reaping the benefits in a lot of my leagues because of it, and now Daniel Jones is performing like a top 10 quarterback, and that transformation in Indianapolis is remarkable. No sacks taken in 3 games, aggressive yet accurate downfield passing, and a supporting cast, including an elite running back in Jonathan Taylor, making offenses hum. So, my question to you there, Jeremiah, Daniel Jones has shocked a lot of dynasty managers with his scoring start, 3-0 start, elite efficiency metrics, and a clean pocket helping him thrive. Yet history warns about premature hype around quarterbacks and spotty track records who suddenly break out. How do you view Daniel Jones's dynasty outlook from here on out? Is he a buy low, hold low end QB1 or a high floor contending roster? Is this more of a sell high window for you, man, or should you capitalize on this surprising surge before, potentially some regression hits, because we've seen it before with him?
Well, I'm just going to say you got to take a moment, because myself and like you had spoken to, Mike, we're very high on Daniel Jones. And I just have one thing to say on that. Yeah, it feels great. I did. It was just amazing. It is hitting in the offseason. We did a startup, the Grindberg Invitational, and somebody messaged me, said, what do you want for Daniel Jones? I said, look, my intention and my plan is to sell him for a first. It's only crazy until it happens. Now, the price, of course, I knew that day, and my trade partner knew that day, was it's not a first. But at this moment, you can start and flip and turn a first. If you're in a portfolio situation where you have 10, keep it simple, you can probably get 2, 3 firsts at this point. It's not going to be hot fire, immediate, every time flip, but it's going to get to where half of those can flip for a first if you want, to maybe 7. I think the ride this week going up against the Rams is a little bit of a trap game. I think we get a little bit of a pause where Daniel Jones has a little bit of a hiccup and we see a little bit of regression from the team, but it may be a situation where we can still get fancy goodness from Colts players. You had alluded to Jonathan Taylor. I think it's just a brief pit stop on the Daniel Jones rest of season ride, which I think is in great shape. So things are looking tremendous. You talk about the stats where teams, and this helps with fantasy football, you start 2-0, you start 3-0, your percentage chance opportunity of going to the playoffs just gets that much bigger. And that's going to help real term, whoever's listening to on the sideline, whatever's going on there, Daniel Jones is going to get the opportunity to continue to be the quarterback. So let's talk about expected points added EPA, number 1 at quarterback position, number 1 in first free throw, first down rate, 4th in fantasy points per game at 22.7, 3rd in passing yards, 2nd in yards per attempt. All of these stats that I look at are just phenomenal for Daniel Jones. This is a run out that we saw. In a neat thing, we talk about ambiguous backfields, receiver rooms, what have you. The Colts, the entire offseason, were stoked with some ambiguity where you had Jones, Anthony Richardson. You have the run out of there's Pittman, Downs, and what could happen for Adonai Mitchell. I'm very excited about him if Alec Pierce is out of the way this week. Just a little preview there. Anytime touchdown. And then you also have the running back room where the run out is JT, RB1 overall upside, which we talked about in the offseason, to DJ Giddens. Essentially, the Colts are we're coming away with something offense. You just had to make sure that you applied the pieces. And then, of course, cherry on top, tight end 3 in Dynasty, tight end 4 if you want to run back and forth between Tucker Kraft and Tyler Warren behind McBride and Bowers, or, hey, Jake Ferguson. But you have so much goodness in this Colts offense if you just invested in it. And it doesn't even hurt you. It only hurts you in some ways if you go all in one direction. You kind of have to sprinkle all across. But in Dynasty, to answer your question, Mike, I think what you do is, to my stated goal in the summer, now that the price is up, you take opportunities where you have depth at quarterback and get that first for Daniel Jones in 2026 in the super flex. Don't do it for all, you do it for some. I would say just don't get greedy, because you'll benefit on the 26 side, and you'll benefit to what I believe is going to be a continuation for Daniel Jones. And I think we have opportunity at comeback player of the year. But let's say next week it's bad, they're 3-1. It's a long season, a whole lot can happen, but things are looking really good for him right now. And this is just an opportunity for you to diversify. I wouldn't completely unload, and I wouldn't necessarily completely go acquire yet. I think what you have to do is sit on the sideline if you have been out, because people are going to reap the benefit. Let somebody else be the person who pays up for that one. You had a depressed asset. There's going to be players that we talk about all the time. You hold them. It's too bad. Like Brandon Ayuk right now, you can hardly get anything out of him. At this point, you're better off waiting until he comes back, because we got bad news, and selling on any kind of a pop, like, unless you want to just give away for near nothing. So hopefully that answered your question. What do you guys think of that?
First and foremost, I want to give you guys your flowers for being, sharp and early to that party. I had my opposition to the idea that Daniel Jones could be good, but it's very clear that we have a new mold of reskin quarterback. This Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold reskin is now the new. That's how we create generational wealth in Dynasty. We buy these guys that are Mac Jones. Anyone? So, like, you go get these guys that get cast off way too early because a GM's about to lose their job and they're trying to do something to save their job. But a 5th round pick's never going to save your job, bud. It's not gonna save your job. So we can go get these reskin quarterbacks. Malik Willis is another one. Daniel Jones is an interesting thing because he's got support and he's playing good football, much like Sam Darnold. We see now that if you can recover from the shell shock of being burdened with carrying a barren franchise, then you become something. I mean, beyond serviceable. Like he could be the Colts quarterback for multiple years if he continues down this path. And if that happens, he's got that, you might be selling short, but also there's a story where he just doesn't continue down the path. I think that right now, if you want to get out of the Daniel Jones business, you might be selling a little bit short, but you could still take a profit on that 2026 first round, or definitely if you can get into the 2027 first round with something a little sprinkled back in late 2026, you can get out. So I love what you guys have been saying for a long time. I was wrong, and I'm always going to be wrong and then be with the people that are right, then just stay over here and be wrong all the time, unless it's about Jalen Waddle, because screw that guy.
There it is. Yeah, I love it, Chev. And great answer, great follow up on the Daniel Jones situation. It's a tough one to predict because the Colts, obviously they invested some huge draft capital in Anthony Richardson, so a lot of us actually thought of him. Especially last year, I had a lot of Anthony Richardson shares that I was eating crow on throughout the whole year, and it actually turfed a lot of my dynasty squads that I'm still recuperating from to this day, especially in the startups that I was in last year. So I learned to move on, and thank goodness for Daniel Jones on a lot of those squads because I was able to pick him up cheap, and next thing you know, he's now a guy that is back up into the top 10 conversation like he was 2 years ago before his injury. And things changed in the NFL, and just like that, it could change the opposite way, and his stock could plummet again with a couple bad starts. So I'm on the proceed with caution, but very optimistic about where my shares are at now of Daniel Jones. Now, Schultzy, let's move on to your question, and we got a storyline here about Caleb Williams. Is his dynasty reign beginning in Chicago? The long-awaited moment has finally arrived. Caleb Williams is showing signs that his dynasty fantasy reign might be kicking off in full gear after a rookie season last year that didn't live up to some people's expectations. Obviously Jaden Daniels stormed the scene, but I don't think Caleb Williams was horrible last year. He had some issues with offensive line, game schemes, all these kind of things we talked about in length on this show over this past year. And now the revamped offensive line, new coaching staff gave him a clean pocket that he desperately needed. It rewarded him finally last week with true pocket poise. 83% of his dropbacks inside the pocket, a career high 11.7 yards per attempt. Williams showed he's no longer just a dynamic runner. He's a refined passer, and he can dissect defenses if he's getting the time. So Schultzy, he just turned his most polished, efficient performance yet. No sacks, 4 touchdowns, clear growth inside the pocket. And this is the true start of Caleb's dynasty reign, or is it too soon to crown him after his early struggles? How confident are you in his ability to sustain this new level of play? And what should dynasty managers look for to decide whether he's a long-term QB1 or still a boomer bust prospect?
Well, I think we got to pay real close attention here at the opponent this past week and say, hey, Russell Wilson carved these guys up and he retired a week and a half later. That's true, but Caleb Williams is also true. I am so in. Look, you have to, the caveat is there, you have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt here. That is this performance against the Cowboys. However, I'm here. I think he's arrived. I think the coaching is showing. It's showing early, and it's only going to get better. Look, already through 3 games, his yards per attempt is 10th in the league at 7.7. I mean, that's a really solid number for a guy learning his system, coming into his own. Fantasy points per dropbacks, 5th. He's 2nd in the league in passing touchdowns. If you want some negatives, here they are. Interceptable passes 1st, danger plays 8th in the league. Money throws 2nd, or he's still 2nd in the league on money throws. So sorry, that's not a negative. But the point I was getting here with that is we are witnessing a gunslinger come into life here. He's going to let the ball go. He's going to push it downfield. He's going to make some mistakes, and it's fine. You're going to have moments where you're watching this guy and you're just like, what are you doing? Like, you're going to get so mad at watching Caleb Williams sometimes, but it doesn't matter. He's third in deep ball attempts. The deep ball catchable rate this year is 7th, 62%. That was an abysmal part of his game last year in college. He's turning it around. The air yards per attempt are 8.8, 8th in the league. This offense is pushing the ball, and he's performing like he's doing what's asked of him. Don't worry about the mistakes. They're going to happen, and it's fine. He's polishing before our eyes. The red zone catchable rate, he's third in the league. 82% catchable rate in the red zone from this guy. We know about the scrambling. It's not going anywhere. He's going to give you yards on the ground. The passing is coming to life under Ben Johnson. We're watching it. I had to get the Russell Wilson joke in at the start, but I'm in. This is for real.
Love it. Yeah, I agree. Chev, we'll give you your moment here. You've been talking Caleb Williams all off season, so let's hear your voice. Let's let you take your victory lap here, because I think it's time to really see where he's at and really put him in that top tier range here.
I mean, the thought that people just wrote him off, like when he just had to survive Shane Waldron, like people survive Shane Waldron like people survive Diddy. He's football Diddy. Write that down. Now, let's look into that. So, what I'm trying to say here is Caleb Williams was extremely successful in adverse conditions as a rookie. Then he gets one of the brightest minds in all of the football verse. And in this particular universe, Ben Johnson, took Jared Goff from being a middling, coach's boy with Sean McVay suckling on the McVay teat to a full-grown man who can run offenses and be elite, with the best weapons and stuff. He's like 8 Mile Brock Purdy. They're the same. They're doing a Spider-Man meme. So all that said, Caleb Williams has taken a step forward, and the rushing production, we talked about it. We didn't really give it the consideration that it deserves, though, because he didn't score rushing touchdowns. Now he's already got 2, I believe. And, he ran for 58 yards in week 2. I can't remember how much he ran for last week. But, last week he was cooking too. He had 4 touchdowns against Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys suck. So take that with a grain of salt. Cowboys, hey, DFS, target the Cowboys. That's the key to generational wealth in 2025. Trademark Chev GPT. Caleb Williams is elite now, from a fantasy perspective. We have to understand that he has an elite weapon. He's going to have more elite weapons when they decide to stop playing Olamide Zaccheaus and put Luther Burden on the field. Whenever they draft a running back in 2026, just imagine adding like Jonah Coleman or Jonah Coleman in a Ben Johnson offense.
Let's go bowling.
I just got so hard, I went sound blind for a second, okay? But anyway, I just wanted to thank you guys for my moment on Caleb Williams and for coming to my Chev Talk for Caleb Williams.
Wow.
The last thing I got on this is mildly Caleb Williams related. Can we take a moment and shout out DeAndre Swift for the 10 foot in the air flea flicker pass back? He threw a pass back to Caleb Williams that took as long as Caleb Williams' ball to Luther Burden.
Oh wow.
Did you see the flea flicker?
Yes.
Yeah. He literally just tossed it 15 feet in the air. It took forever to get back to Caleb.
He said it was like shooting a free throw back. Yeah. And he bailed him out. Caleb bailed him out. Yes. Every play, here's the thing about Caleb. Every play, it was neat. It was one of those, you're kind of asking yourself a Socratic method question as you're, enveloping what's playing out. You're sitting there. Is it me, or is every Caleb Williams drop back exciting? Or are the Dallas Cowboys that both? Or is it a little bit of both? And I think we got a little bit of both, because even though they got dog walked against the Lions, there were some parts of the game where Caleb Williams was cooking and in rhythm, of course, with Roma Dunze. Just because they were behind so much, it was still happening to a degree. So we're seeing that build, and we saw, we talk about Arch Manning get a couple confidence W's before that opening win. If you reverse the opening loss, to Ohio State, 14-7, maybe those reps and the positivity of success help beget more success in a more crucial situation. So, of course, the next step for real football is, can Caleb Williams get up there with some of the better teams? But this is a huge boost, and they put it on wax. You're going to see it in film. What's the knock on Caleb Williams? You didn't watch film, or you don't know how to study, or people don't key in with you, whatever it is.
Paints his nails.
He can paint his nails and lock in and watch great film, and that's just going to create another loop for success for the future and build rapport. Of course, all the guys who are in there who are making the plays, that's just another thing you can see where maybe the tutelage and the firmness, whatever it is from Ben Johnson, the tough love, is working out for the growth for Caleb Williams. So you love to see it.
This does feel like it could be watching the ball go through the hoop moment for him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Like they're going to build layups and stuff into the offense. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Great. I'm going to move on to Schultzy's question here. And Quinshon Judkins, the era begins in Cleveland. The rookie is ready to dominate dynasty backfields. It's looking, after missing all of training camp and preseason. The Browns running back made a statement in week 3, rushing 10 times, 61 yards, adding 3 catches, and now he's the starter. Okay, he got a touchdown last week, 98 yards, I think 94 yards on the ground, looking really, really darn good. Chev Judkins stepping into the lead back role earlier than I expected, especially after all the drama in the offseason. I was more of a Tre'Veon Henderson kind of guy over a Judkins, but obviously, Cleveland is in need of a starting running back. Is he now a must-own RB2 with upside? Should managers temper expectations, giving Cleveland's tough matchups ahead and other running backs on their roster? Sampson's impressed early on, especially when Judkins wasn't playing, but obviously his role's faded. They still seem to be giving the ball to Jerome Ford. What would it take for you to fully trust Judkins as a dynasty RB1 going forward?
You talking to me?
I'm talking to you, man.
Me?
To you. Chev.
Listen. So, all right, guys. You know that when I watch Quinshon Judkins highlights, I have the sudden urge to turn on power tools. So this is just confirmation bias.
Chev, no power tools.
Yeah. I'm not doing karate in the garage. I'm watching Quinshon Judkins highlights in the cement aisle, boys. So what you have to understand is this is what he does. He's done this. He did this at Ole Miss, and then when he went to Ohio State, it was like, yeah, I can split with Tre'Veon. We're both super talented. It'll save wear and tear on us for the NFL. Then he lands in a backfield completely ripe for the picking to step into the Nick Chubb role. Like, there's nobody there like Nick Chubb. So enter Quinshon Judkins, who's very similar to Nick Chubb. I did not think he was as athletic profile-wise. I thought he had great, on-field athleticism, but I mean, they're almost a carbon copy. They don't play the game the same, but Quinshon Judkins, yes, is going to be a top 10 dynasty running back very, very soon, probably by the end of October, if he's going to be healthy and assume the workload that they said that he would get, or if it's similar to what he got against Green Bay. He will be a top 10 dynasty running back now is the time to buy him. This is the last time you're going to be able to buy him for anything less than multiple first or first plus. The price of the brick is going up. So this is real. He's an RB2 now. He will be an RB1 in Dynasty very soon. Go get him now.
Savvy
Someone on
advice.
Twitter said that he takes the shortest strides he's ever seen. And I can't unsee it, and I giggle watching him run now. He's still very good. It just makes me laugh.
It's real. It's weird. It's so weird. It makes it look like he's slow.
Yeah.
But it's just so many steps.
His Fitbit step monitor is off the ying. He's setting world records as we speak. Yeah, that's awesome. Great answer.
Do we have any concern for the legal stuff moving forward?
I mean, maybe, but
right. I mean, it's so hard to say.
It'll be like what, 2 games? I mean, he got it. Yeah. Who cares? Right. Oh, he's gonna miss 2 games. He's not hurt or anything. Is he hurt? No, the NFL was like, hey, bro, we just gotta let you know you can't be like out here making people think that you hit this girl. So that's how serious it is. But I don't think that I wouldn't factor that into. It's just like Rashee Rice's suspension. We knew he was going to get suspended. Why would that factor into dynasty value?
Fair.
All right. Okay. Well, we were going to hit up Biggs with a JSN question. Schultzy, maybe you want to rip one to me, maybe about JSN, his emergency.
Yeah, I got you off the show sheet here. Biggs, parentheses, Grindberg. JSN has been on fire to start 2025, and you called it. He's currently my wide receiver 6 in Dynasty. How high has he skyrocketed up your rankings after this start? Are you locking him in as a top 5 wide receiver moving forward, or do you still have some reservations?
I personally, I know, and I'm speaking on my behalf, not Biggs's behalf, but he called it earlier this offseason. He was comparing him to having a better season to Justin Jefferson. So I know where he stands on this, and I'm right on the same bandwagon with him. He's off to a blazing start in 2025, quickly establishing himself as obviously as one of the premier wide receivers. He's a true wide receiver 1. Despite, Seattle's, they got a little bit of a lower passing attack, but JSN has delivered elite production in his 3 games so far this year. Obviously, the Thursday nighter is still going on as we're recording this, but he had a 5-catch, 96-yard performance under, the flu bug, a touchdown against the Saints. His chemistry with Sam Darnold is becoming undeniable as the Seahawks become more comfortable in Clint Kubiak's offense. JSN's target share and red zone opportunities are on the rise. I think his target share in the first 3 games was 37.7%. That's 22 targets in 3 games. Great production. His yards per route are 15. He's getting about 20 fantasy points per game at this stage, and I think he can sustain that throughout the whole year here. He's a top 3 wide receiver. I'm looking at Justin Jefferson fading at this stage. Jamar Chase has got some issues with some quarterbacks as well. So Puka Nacua is the only guy that really at this stage is really outperforming JSN. And what we saw last year at the end of last year, the final stretch of 2024, the final 7 games, JSN had a 27% target share, 700 yards. He was averaging the same 20 fantasy points per game. Elite stuff. All he needed was a little bit of DK Metcalf to leave the building and become the clear alpha, and he did that while Metcalf was in the building last year at the final stretch here and became the number 1 target. So, yeah, I'm all in on JSN finishing this year strong, and I think he's going to be awesome. Any rebuttals?
Well, the thing about JSN is really the only thing. Granted, tonight there's something going on right now, maybe with the snaps. I'm not sure if it's game flow or whatnot. We'll monitor that. But he's been a PPR printing machine, JSN, and really the only thing that can long-term get in the way, of course, would be injury. But would be Sam Darnold, believe it or not. If he were to get hurt and it had to be Jalen Milroe, I think that would really hurt the outlook on JSN. He would still get the high target share. It wouldn't be as efficient. It wouldn't be as accurate. It may lessen the amount of snaps and plays where he gets targets. That could happen. But that is just a could. And that's the only thing that I would make me go from, oh man, it's a PPR printing machine to a very good PPR printing machine. So it's a negligible difference, and it's really just a fictional what if at this point that really you can't play without fear. And great pick so far. If you got JSN in the 3rd round, the price is going to go up. He's on the trajectory to be a round 1 pick next year.
And this is a great lesson in like forward thinking in rookie drafts, because the knock on this guy was like, he's just not going to produce right away. We had the injury, and it's like, who cares? Like, we watched this dude at Ohio State just be a complete alpha week in and week out. And we knew it all along watching this guy that, hey, when Sundays come, he's going to be real. Like, this is going to be a thing, and he's going to be awesome. And then we talk ourselves out of crap like this every single year. We got to learn a lesson from that, man. Like, when a guy is this good, just don't overthink it.
Love it. All right. Let's rock in. Okay. Do you have anything else to say there, Chev? I think you have to point something out about JSN.
No, man. I love it. I was a little bit slow to the JSN as elite, but I am here now, and it's fun. It's nice. It's nice. I was like, he's okay. But then I was like, wait, there's an archetype here. And also another person that has been harmed by Diddy Waldron. So like we see what happens when they're free from, they've escaped Diddy Waldron. Now we're able Roma Dunze. All right. BTJ, soon as Shane Waldron is no longer a part of the Jacksonville passing game, we're going to see him and Travis Hunter skyrocket. Okay. We need to fire him into the sun. Okay. It needs to be near any sort of offensive design ever again. All right. He needs to be designing pulpits in senior citizens' homes, but like no more football ever.
It'd be interesting because you got this bucket of wide receivers that kind of like 3 years in a row were drafted, same round draft capital essentially. You got JSN, Roma Dunze, and Emeka Ibuka here, who are kind of like very similar builds, very similar pedigree, and I think Ibuka is just breaking out a bit sooner because of opportunity he had, but Rome. JSN and Ibuka were all supposed to be on the same trajectory. Now we see what's happening with Rome. We're seeing what's happening with JSN at the late last year, and Ibuka. All great picks here, and love what I see. All right, let's get into our stock up, stock down segment here, and we're going to start with our stock ups. And Schultzy, why don't you get us rolling here with your first player?
Yeah, for me, it's going to be David Montgomery. And I was a little bit down coming into the year on some Monty, and hey, I'm wrong here. I was a little concerned by the knee, and that he rushed back for the playoffs, and he's a little bit of an aging back. Like, there was just some stuff there that there was some reasonable concern. A lot of people question the Ben Johnson departure. I mean, we've spelled those concerns. This offense is going to keep scoring, and they're not going to stop, and that ain't changing. So, like, I'm not worried about that anymore. And that was a legitimate reason here for me as well for Monty. Gibbs is totally that guy. I think, he's going to step in and take some of these carries and some of that work away. He's going to really firmly plant himself. And he is showing himself. But once again, this offense is unaffected by the Ben Johnson thing. So the pace is there, the points are there, the yards are there. It doesn't matter. Go trade for Monty if you can. He's going to score touchdowns still. He's going to get his chunks of yards. And honestly, he's probably pretty cheap still. And he's going to be a really valuable addition to a contender here as a depth piece. So big time stock up on Monty, as in the arrow is pointing up, and you probably got a quick buy window that might close soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was lower on him as well. I was worried about, Ben Johnson leaving, and obviously that is an afterthought at this stage. And I just thought that maybe his red zone usage would go down, but it looks like it's still there. He's being used in a very similar role that he was last year, and yeah, he looks healthy. So both these guys are going to be bruisers. And coach, what do you got to say about that?
Hey, nobody wants to think of this run out. We saw last year David Montgomery out, Gibbs clear, leaps and bounds, league winner, like Jamal Charles level, right? If the opposite were to happen, David Montgomery would be a league winning running back. He is phenomenal. And you saw all the tweets out there. Man, the Chicago Bears could really use a running back like David Montgomery. It's an embarrassment of riches for the Detroit Lions. And we're seeing it's kind of back to what Schultzy was alluding to. There isn't fear now about, because last year there wasn't fear about, hey, you plug in David Montgomery to start, you're just going to get points. You don't know how they'll show up. With Gibbs, it's a little more certain because of the electric appeal. But David Montgomery would just be like a little bit lesser version of that. Great call on that with David Montgomery. Way to be reactionary. And it's an opportunity to sell high to cash out big if people were down. So this is a spot. If you are concerned long-term, if you think it's going to turn at all towards Gibbs, cash out while you can, or stack weeks and win leagues and keep pumping and pushing David Montgomery into your flex spot. Or if he plays on a Thursday night, you put him in your RB spot. You know the deal. So good call there.
Love it. All right, coach, who's your stock up, man?
Hey, Ricky Pearsall, baby. It's Ricky Pearsall stock up. We just got the news about Brandon Ayuk. The trajectory was that he would come back maybe mid-season, and now it's looking like maybe the entirety of the season. George Kittle, who knows how long it'll take him to get back. If the 49ers are winning, it may not be a week early on Kittle. It might be another week out as the 49ers trying to get truly healthy. And Juwan Jennings, we'll see what happens with him. But right now, Ricky Pearsall is crushing. The beauty is Pearsall, he's third in air yards, so he's getting opportunity. The 49ers are fourth in team pass plays per game. What was the run out in the story on the 49ers? It was that they have a very easy schedule this year. Doesn't matter with Mac Jones. I've been happy about the Mac Jones call. We've seen him do well. We saw what he did with Brian Thomas Jr. last year, and we're seeing it with Kyle Shanahan and a competent offense. Hat tip to Mac Jones, hat tip to Kyle Shanahan. Of course, when Purdy comes back, it'll be even better for Ricky Pearsall, but it really hasn't been much of a difference. So you love to see it. There's value insulation there for Pearsall, the asset, with the quarterback play. It's an underrated thing because while the quarterback, you're not getting the points for Mac Jones or Brock Purdy, you're getting the solidified security of Ricky Pearsall there. So you love to see it, and the stats are all there for Ricky Pearsall. He's getting 8 targets per game. Very good, and you really can't complain too much on that. And 14.6 fantasy points per game. It could be a little bit, but there's going to be some boom weeks. There's going to be some touchdown connections there. No receiving touchdowns yet for Ricky Pearsall, but stock is up, and good luck getting him now. So you got to be very happy if you got him in redraft and you already have him in Dynasty. Man, you just love to see it. So I'm very happy about this play. And right now, Ricky Pearsall, let's see, there's a trade on Dynasty Daddy Trade Center. Pearsall and Kittle in a 0.5 tight end premium for a 26-1. Sign me up for the Pearsall Kittle side. Love that. Then we have Ricky Pearsall and Jackson Dart in a super flex 12-team start 9. Full PPR 0.5 tight end premium for Drake London. Now, I know what the person is doing trying to acquire Drake London, but my God, you're getting Jackson Dart, who's just liquidation for – he could be a 26-1 easily right now. It's going to rise if Jackson Dart plays well. So it's going to be – that's more than a 26 first value right there alone. And then I'm willing to tier down Ricky Pearsall, who hasn't even been a tier down from Drake London. So there's some cool deals that are out there. Stock is up on Ricky Pearsall.
Sure is. I agree with that one. Chev, you got to stock up for us.
Give me a yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Rondale Gadsden time, fellas.
Woo!
Listen. All right. So he's active for the first time in his NFL career And he comes out and he gets 7 targets on 22 snaps. He played 26% of the snaps and got 7 targets in his first NFL game. Now, I have been screaming from the mountaintops. All right. And they're like, hey, go home. You're drunk, Chev. A 5th round tight end can't ever mean anything, guys.
You don't live around mountains, Chev. Where are the mountains coming from, Chev? Where are you screaming from, man?
Listen, that was good. That was good. That was good. But not as good as a Rondale Gadsden.
There you go.
I am ridiculously excited about this now. And now you have Jim Harbaugh just saying and whispering sweet nothings into the press and telling us that he's gonna feature him more. They played him in the slot 50% of his snaps in his debut, and they're gonna carve out a role. Oh, did I mention that it's with the tight end kingmaker Greg Roman, who was the architect of the Mark Andrews breakout season? Like, this is happening, okay? And I know that the spreadsheet warriors will tell us that, oh, but he didn't get the draft capital that we needed. Oh, he can't be good because he's a 5th round tight end, guys.
Shut up, nerd.
If you just watch football and watch Rondale Gadsden play football, just go get, there's still time. I'm the guy that's telling you to buy Bitcoin. Please go buy 1 Bitcoin. That's a Rondale Gadsden. All right.
Just get one Rondale, man. That's it. Just get one.
I love it.
It's my most owned Dynasty player.
I love it. I mean, we've been talking about Rondale Gadsden, just like Pierre Noel Olivier. These are the top tight ends of the class, and now they're starting to rise up. And Rondale Gadsden is
Theodore Olivier.
Yeah, Noah Theodore Olivier.
Hey, Ladarius Shadarius, baby. That's who Rondale Gadsden has always been.
I actually moved Rondale ahead of him this week because of that huge performance. So we're no, I'm just joking. Yeah, Rondale Gadsden has been on your radar for a long time, Chev, and it's great to see him come in and his first NFL game, and look what he did. Important.
Actually, Phyllis was first.
Phyllis. All right, let's get into my stock up, and that's Jordan Mason. He absolutely crushed it in his first start for the Vikings, showing why he quickly becoming one of the most exciting running backs to own right now in Dynasty, because sometimes when value goes down in the offseason, things change and good situations happening, and Mason didn't just fill the void. He dominated, rushing 16 times, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns in that blowout win over the Bengals. And a lot of people this offseason had Jordan Mason coming in and becoming a split backfield with Aaron Jones right away, and he pretty much did that right out of the gate. And now he's got that potential to be that bell cow kind of back, similar to what he was in San Francisco. And he's gonna have some favorable matchups as this year goes on, and with Aaron Jones done pretty much for this season, or he's on IR now, and I think Jordan Mason is going to look at that role and all the carries he's going to get, and nobody really in the backfield to challenge him. As long as he can stay healthy, he's an outright winner here. And with an open market here for the Vikings past 2025 here, he's got an opportunity to stick with the team and be there long term. So if he could really impress here, I think Jordan Mason's shares are going up, and you didn't really invest too much on getting him in the first place in a lot of areas. So yeah, stock up for Jordan Mason.
And he gets a great matchup against the Steelers in Ireland.
And mighty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said, Grindberg.
Thanks, Chev. I agree with you. It's a happy day for us here on the Dynasty Pulse. Okay, let's move on to our stock downs. The guys that have been just, kind of tanking lately, guys that you got to get a little bit of a bad feel for, whether you want to buy them at a low price or just you're completely off of them. Explain your reason why they're stock down, and if you're ambitious on getting a hold of them at their depleted price, or are you just completely down and out on them. We'll start with who did we start with last time? Was it Coach or was it Schultzy? Let's go with
me.
All right, let's go with Schultzy then.
It's kind of the night for everybody taking victory laps on player takes, so I'm joining in on the fun, and it's CJ Stroud is the stock down, man. So coming off his rookie season, this dude was literally like consensus top 5 dynasty quarterback. And it got like outrageous to the point where people were pulling the trigger in the first round of startups. And I just thought that was completely absurd for a dude who offers 0 on the ground and threw for more than 2 passing touchdowns in one game of his rookie season. He had that game in his rookie year against, I want to say, the Bucks. It was a high scoring game, and red zone kept coming back to. He threw 5 touchdowns and like 450 or something like that. Like he blew up that game. Yeah. And it was from that moment on that everyone just lost it for him and just couldn't see past the tunnel vision of that one game. And it was absurd to me that we were valuing a dude this high who's going to offer you nothing on the ground, like I mentioned. And when you do that, you've got to be Joe Burrow. There is no other way around it. If you are not Joe Burrow, you are not a top dynasty quarterback if you're not running. And I just couldn't get there with CJ Stroud that he was Joe Burrow. The offense is not designed to throw the ball like the Bengals. His offensive line sucks. It's gotten worse this year, and people were still trying to talk themselves into CJ Stroud being a top fantasy quarterback. It's not going to happen. They're going to run the ball. This offense wants to run, and that's fine. They can be a good team playing defense, an efficient passing game and running the ball. Like, that's who they want to be, and they can be that. It hasn't started that way, but they can be. But all that to say is that CJ Stroud, in an offense like this, with an offensive line that's garbage, it doesn't matter who you give around him. The fantasy points are never going to come the way we wanted them to. And honestly, it kind of appears like he's regressed a little in some ways as well. Like, some of the decision-making this year has been really bad, and some of the inaccuracies. Now, it's probably offensive line stuff related too, but regardless, the hype got way out of control. The stock is down on this guy. He's currently QB 25. Like, what are we doing here?
And I think their defense is a lot better than people give them credit for as well.
Oh,
so
100%
in lower scoring games, they don't need to be in blowouts at this stage because their defense is keeping them in. So, I think there's a lot of variables here for CJ Stroud being a stock down. Chev, what do you got to say about that?
I mean, yeah, he's absolutely right. I would like to think that they'll make some sort of pivot to a more aerial assortment of play calling, but they just don't really have a reason to. I don't know what this new play caller's kind of what his book of tricks looks like. I mean, it looks like he's been in the lab just cooking up some dookie. It's not good. So let's get that figured out, and then we can start. But they're just bad. It's a bad time right now. CJ Stroud's a talented quarterback, but this is just not. This is he got way too far up, and now he's probably appropriately priced based on like his floor, and not being able to achieve a ceiling outcome for various reasons.
Love it.
See what you did
there. All right, Coach, what do you got for your stock down?
Yeah, stock down. This is an opportunity one. We're not going to do any of a kind of a victory lap. It's going to be JJ McCarthy. And JJ McCarthy, I see a trade 3 days ago, so it's recent enough. No tangible thing has really happened per se. Jordan Love in the super flex, 12-team start 9, 1.5 tight end premium. Jordan Love for JJ McCarthy in the 26th round 1 pick. I think I would take the McCarthy in the round 126 pick. Love doesn't necessarily move the needle too much. I think we have an opportunity here if it's going to be out until week 7. So we're going to have out until week 7 on JJ McCarthy, and there's all this questioning and chirping between and behind why did this happen? Is it the injury? How much of it is the injury? How much is it trying to get a restart on things? Whatever that might be under the surface, whether true or not, you can take advantage, because I really do think things can settle. You're going to get Jordan Addison back. Justin Jefferson is still a stud. TJ Hawkinson looks like he's cooked. You got a good base with what's going on with Jordan Mason. I think things are looking up a little bit more if you want to look through rose-colored lens for JJ McCarthy. And the beauty is you only have this 2-game sample, and people are not hot or fond at all on what's going on in Minnesota. They really wanted the run out of, the Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. There's been a lot of hype. I know there's some analysts who we absolutely respect who have been high on JJ McCarthy. I think you have to take that opportunity and buy low if you can. But the beauty is you don't have to buy at a ceiling price. You can buy at something that's very palatable. Jordan Love for McCarthy and 26-1 is super, super palatable, especially if you have, with all the quarterbacks out there, if you've got any combination of Tyrod Taylor, Mac Jones, Carson Wentz, if you've been playing strategically any quarterback in a 53 in Superflex Dynasty, that's a perfect trade for you to buy you enough time. If you've got Joe Flacco, you got somebody to plug in to get the few weeks bridged to you to JJ McCarthy, and then you tack on that 26-1, sign me up. So it's a stock down, but all is not bad.
Agreed. 100%.
As someone who pushed back a little bit more on the McCarthy stuff, I think that's spot on. I would make that trade right now too.
And it's all price points, right? Because maybe you didn't like him when we had that argument with where Biggs really took a big stand on tier 2, wherever McCarthy was, that he had him high. But this goes back to you hate prices or ADPs and not necessarily the player. And now you see an opportunity where you could reap profit from the entry point that you can get JJ McCarthy in Dynasty. You see a profit margin of something you can flip, just like you would do for real estate. Hey, how can I get a turn on this? Or stocks, how can I trade on the market and still squeeze? If I'm going to buy, I want to see a path for growth. There's a path for growth from the price point right now for JJ McCarthy in Dynasty leagues.
All right, Chev, who's your stock down, buddy?
Terry McLaurin.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it feels bad right now. It's not a fun time. Now we're, Terry's getting opinions on whether or not he needs surgery. These things, playing and being good for your fantasy team and also needing surgery at the ripe old age of 30, that's just not where you want to be with the Dynasty wide receiver 1. So, I mean, obviously we've got to bump him down some. How far down do you want to bump him? What could you get for him? I mean, do you have to wait for people to see him be good at football again to try to extract the maximum value? Do you feel like you're catching a falling knife in 2025 and moving forward?
You're good, you.
Yeah. So I really just, I don't want to be out, but I'm forced to start liquidating what few shares that I might have left, because it could go sideways really quickly. He's still good at football, but these types of things, that role, I mean, he only had 117 targets last year. That's not a high volume. You had to do some serious damage from a touchdown perspective to recreate what he did last year, and you just can't predict that. On top of him being older, so yeah, it's stock down for Terry McLaurin for me.
Yeah. And I got a heartbreaker too as a stock down. And, Chev and I probably are going to eat the most humble pie on this one. And that's Chase Brown, who's looking pretty lost right now after a monster, second half of 2024, where we saw him, have some really good runs this year. Obviously, the Joe Burrow injury is heartbreaking for just the Bengals offense in general after what we saw from Jake Browning last weekend. Jake Browning is a guy that has shown in the past that he can bring that Bengals offense back to life, and maybe that is still something that can be had. But as far as 2025 is concerned, I'm really worried about Chase Brown because the opportunity as a workhorse back could be fading now. He hasn't been very efficient with his runs either. I think his biggest run of the year has been like 11 yards, and he's had a ton of carries. Not efficient, not that upside where they're going to be scoring a whole lot of touchdowns either in the red zone, where he was getting a lot of run last year. And you never know, like the draft capital isn't there for a day 3 pick really, and he could be easily moved on from when you think about his snap share, potentially losing some of that to a guy like Taj Brooks, who they might want to see some looks at too. So really upset about the Chase Brown situation. I'm really nervous about Chase Brown, and it could be a really grim situation. He could be a one-hit wonder, if you will, and that is never good when you got some dynasty stocks of a guy. But you know what, Chev, we made bank last year on him, and he made us a fortune in a lot of ways. So we didn't pay a whole lot for him either. So at this stage of the game, unless we were drafting him early and redraft in dynasty leagues this summer, we'd be in tough. What's up, Coach?
Hey, this is a lot like last year with Rashee Rice. I was right about Rashee Rice. A lot of people were right about him, but you had the wrong outcome. And I'm not going to let you guys sit here and take this. I'm not going to let you be bullied into capitulating. Grindberg and Chev, you were right about Chase Brown. You've had the wrong outcome. A lot of it is circumstantial. Joe Burrow's in there. It doesn't matter. He's running the way he did. So it's something that as much as you were right, it's the wrong outcome. And it doesn't matter either way. But at the same time, I can't sit there and say that you guys were wrong about it. You were right about Chase Brown. You're just wearing the effects of the wrong outcome, which can happen to anybody.
Total bad result, good process scenario.
Right.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's the same thing with like his teammates, right? You buy into T. Higgins being the upside wide receiver 2, with wide receiver 1 week winning upside, right? And now you're probably not going to get those outcomes with no Joe Burrow. Like it affects everyone. Jamar Chase, runaway wide receiver 1. It's a very unlikely outcome that he's going to triple crown now.
And you also you got to think in fantasy all the time. We have these instances where you have a cuff, like let's say it's the easy one right now is Trey Benson. You get the benefit of, hey, plugging in for James Conner. Well, on that play, something had to go right. So your process and plays, at least along the lines, let's say you were in on Chase Brown and then you were in on Trey Benson. Well, they're at divergent price points and they have divergent opposite outcomes. And one is benefiting on a jackpot and another is painful hurt sliding the other way in an even way. So eventually all of these in a grand scale even out, and you just hope you can shred 55%, 60% edge on that pendulum in your favor. And that's just this game that we love.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully the Arizona Cardinals and Marvin Harrison Jr. were able to wash that feces off their uniforms and their gameplay, because it is not looking pretty for them. So, folks, this was the weekend warm-up for week 4 for the Dynasty Pulse on FSAN and the Undroppables. Be sure to like and subscribe to everything. And, stay tuned for next week. We'll be warming up week 5 again with some probing questions for our panel and some stock up, stock downs. It's always a blast having y'all on the show. Great Discord. Had a lot of fun, boys. And everybody viewing in. See you next week. Hope you win. Peace
We
out.
hope you win.